all the way from Providence, Rhode Island. Welcome to Outlander Cast. It's a podcast dedicated to the show Outlander on Stars.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
Just wanted to say, Marvin, that I got the volume right this time. Made sure that people could hear you as you finally said that. I don't know why I've been struggling with that with that cue. You know what? I'm here for it. Let's just go. Let's make a podcast. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Any opening takes before we release the hounds about this episode? Opening thoughts.
I just enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot for many reasons. I know that there are mixed feelings on every single episode, so I'm excited to hear everyone else's thoughts.
My opening take, I'm kind of in on Ian and Rachel. I think I'm in.
Me too.
I like how cute they are. I like how odd they are together. Mm-hmm. And it's just unique. And that uniqueness, if that's a word, if that's what they are, then that makes them special. And that makes them unlike any other relationship that we could see in any other TV show, right? And I think that's why, I mean, except for the whole thee and thy thing, I'm still struggling with that. I'm not going to lie.
That's okay.
All right. You ready to release the hounds, my love?
I sure am.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, we just wanted to say before we get into the rest of the show, please make sure to follow and subscribe to us on the podcast, whether it is on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever. Obviously, you're listening to us right now, so thank you very much. But just make sure you hit that little subscribe button or just stick to the show. Check us out at MaryandBlake.com for all the blogs, podcasts, and everything else that we got going on over there. All right, Marvin, let's get to jointhenerdclan.com.
Do it.
Kathy Henry says, Mary, the stick.
The word I was looking for.
The word you were looking for last episode. It's actually pronounced. It's not pronounced shillalag. It's pronounced shillelagh.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Ladies and gents, like I said, Mary will read what is on the paper.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
So no matter what it is.
Always, friends. Linda Little writes in, definitely read the novella, A Leaf in the Wind of All Hallows. It will not spoil and stands alone now that we know what happened to Jerry Mackenzie.
I've really given this a lot of thought, Marvin. I've given it a lot of thought, and I think that I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Just because I really like what the show did with Roger and his dad. I kind of want to know more. I want to know about the mission. I want to know about how Roger's dad fell through the stones, and I want to know how what happens when he goes back. Like, I imagine that's probably all in there.
Maybe.
And if that's the case, then I want to know more. All right, Dara Lovett says 4.75 kilts. The good. The parallels between Claire and Jamie's wedding night and Rachel and Ian's. Ooh, I like this take. With the delicate unlacing of Rachel's undergarment and the biting. Loved it. I also loved how genuinely happy Claire looked when she was talking with Rachel before the wedding. Claire has such a beautiful smile, and we rarely see it so big and heartfelt like that. I felt pure joy of the moment because of Claire's brilliant smile. The bad, Sophie Skelton's accent. With all the experts they consult, can't someone be hired to teach Skelton to say the word anything correctly? I just can't with her pronunciation. Anything. I totally agree. I can't stand the way that Sophie Skelton says anything. Anything. It's, if you're from Boston, it's anything. Anything, not anything. What are we doing? The great Roger meeting his da and the heart-wrenching moment he had to say goodbye to him. I also enjoy the dialogue at the end between Roger and Buck on the world's stillest horses. So excited for what's to come.
Oh, yes. Jess Lee writes in, I really loved this episode. 5 kilts for me. There's so much to talk about, but all I can say is Ian could sell a ketchup popsicle to a girl in a white dress with that smile and those dimples.
You know what?
Ketchup popsicle.
Ketchup popsicle.
She
I'm
says,
out.
I loved their sweet wedding. I'm like retching. I loved their sweet wedding, and I thought their wedding night was really well written and acted.
I agree. You know, I'm a big ketchup guy. Love ketchup. I'm not one of those guys, Mary, that just takes ketchup and just drizzles it all over fries.
I do.
That's barbaric.
I like that.
No,
sometimes.
you take it and you put a nice dollop. You put the fry in, and then you eat the fry.
Good for you. I like it. You know, like the banh mi fries at the brewery down the road?
Yeah.
How they've got the drizzled stuff all over it.
Well, that's different. That's different because that's flavoring. Ketchup is an additive.
We'll see. What does Maureen say at Join the Nerd Clan?
Let's see. Maureen says, is it just me or Ian and Rachel got married all of a sudden when just the episode before they had said the Quakers had refused to approve their union?
Yeah, so they do it without him. Get out of here.
Yeah, screw you. We don't need you and your Quakers. She's already out anyway, as it is. I got confused that we went straight to the wedding after that comment. Other than that, this was a good episode, although I only give it 4.5 kilts.
Interesting.
My favorite parts were the ones where Roger and Bree. My good was the moment when the show toyed with us again with the editing, playing on the idea that Roger and his son might be reunited through the stones. My bad was the length of the sex scene between Rachel and Ian. I get it. The show needs some rumpy-pumpy, but it dragged on when we have so little time to cover a lot. And my great was the whole thing with Roger and his father. It was a bit rushed, but I loved that Roger got to see his father and tried to give him a chance. Marvin, I kind of see what Maureen is saying here about the length of the sex scene, but for so long, I've heard book readers say like, oh, well, this isn't just Jamie and Claire's story anymore. It's Ian's and it's William's and it's whoever's, If we're going to have to get on board with the idea that Ian is a real character with real desires and real wants, then we're going to have to spend extra time with him doing the things that make him who he is.
I think some of the reasons that people feel uncomfortable with it, whether they feel it was too long or whatever, is just because we see Ian as Ian. We see him as the young little lad that
That's
Jamie
true.
held in his arms. And so it's hard for us to be like, oh my gosh, you are not married and you're having sex. Ooh,
It's Aria
that was
syndrome.
Your aunt.
Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
It's like watching Aria. You can't do it.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to the voicemails.
Hey, Mary and Blake, this is Angie in
Angie.
Georgia. I wanted to give my GBGs for episode 13. Hello, goodbye. I'm going to give it a 4.2. It was good. I liked it. My good is Brianna kicking Cameron in the face. I love that. She's such a badass.
She is.
My bad is going to be Rachel and Ian's love scene. I don't know why, but I just found it like really cringy and not very believable. I don't know if it was like Rachel's weird way that she talks or I don't even know. Just like that John Bell looked really uncomfortable during the whole entire thing, but it was just cringy. My great was Roger's dad, Nicholas Ralph showing up. Oh my God, he's one of my favorite Scottish actors. I love him. I thought that whole interaction was just so sweet. Like Roger's face when he says, I love you as his dad is going back through the stones is just heartbreaking and sweet. And I really liked that part of it. So I'm really glad to see that interaction. Okay. Love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you, Angie.
I hate to say that Rick Rankin did such a good job. I hate it.
Oh my God. You know who
That
you are
guy.
like? You are like Jamie, who just can't get over shit.
Yep, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'll own that. Because the freaking Rick Rankin did a good job. And Rick, if you're listening.
Oh my God, he's not. Stop
No,
it.
he's definitely not. But you did good. That ain't enough, though. All right, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. It's Andrea calling from
Hi,
Portland,
Andrea.
Oregon for
Hi, Andrea.
episode Hello, Goodbye. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, so I'm giving it 4.9 kilts. My good, Arabella and William. I'm loving this new character and how she interacts with William. but even more so enjoying and watching William's internal conflict from learning the truth about his parentage and how that's all unfolding. My bad. Not really a bad, just a meh. Was
Meh.
Ian and Rachel's wedding and wedding night. I'm so happy for them, but I'm not as invested in their relationship as I wish I was, and I felt that there was too much time spent on the occasion. And
People are out on the Ian and Rachel thing. It's
know.
funny.
I know.
I'm surprised.
And you loved it.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
Like if it well, all right, let's let Andrea finish.
and the slow pacing of those scenes for me took away from the episode. But my great was Bree's scene with the police. I felt her frustration, fear, anger, and awareness of the predicament that she was in and how it was appearing to the police and how it was hard to navigate and tell them the truth. But really, every scene with her this season has been impeccable. Thanks, Mary and Blake, for all that you do. Listening to your podcast is my favorite part of the Outlander universe. Take care.
Aw, thank you.
That's some big shoes to fill too. I mean, there is the whole show of the Outlander verse, which is, big shoes to or big britches, man, to fill.
Yes, it is.
To live up to.
So thank you, Andrea.
I'll take that. I'll take that right away. Thank you so much. All right, Britta says, it's been a while since I laughed and felt awes in Outlander, and I enjoyed it a lot. 4.8 kilts, very good. The Quaker wedding feeling like the first time you attend a yoga class and get the giggles. or
Yes.
or when I attended the baby class.
Blake. I brought Blake to my birthing class, obviously.
It wasn't a birthing class.
Yes, it was.
No, it was like
hypno
babies.
Yes, it was a birthing class.
It wasn't like
Blake, the whole point was birth.
when I hear birthing class, I think of like Lamaze. That's what I think of.
Okay, so this class was meant for us to safely get a baby out of me through the methods of birth.
Fair.
And it was meant for the birthing parent and then their partner who would be supporting them.
Yep.
And how to try to breathe and mentally get through pain and contractions and all that kind of stuff through potentially hypnosis, okay? And Blake failed so much that the teacher told me that I just needed to listen to the audio tracks because Blake would not be able to give me the prompts and the help that I needed during birth. And that proved true. He just left the room crying. No, you left the room crying.
I didn't leave the room crying.
Both times.
No, the second time there wasn't even enough time to cry. You got into the room and you had Felicity in your hands within 30 seconds. The first time, the birth process was it was 36 hours.
Might have gone faster if I had a good partner.
And the reason why I was feeling some giggles is because the first thing this lady does and says, all right, everybody. I'll do it in Andrea's voice because Andrea's great at this. Okay, everybody. I want you to close your eyes and picture you're holding a lemon. And then I want you to squeeze the lemon. And I want you to feel the mist of the lemon coming onto your face and what it smells like. And I'm like, we're supposed to be having kids here, not squeezing freaking lemons. What are we doing? I couldn't stop laughing because there were these people.
It was so embarrassing.
That were just taking it so seriously.
So embarrassing.
Oh, my God.
And honestly, after the second class, she told me that Blake was not going to be good help and to hire a doula or listen to the CDs.
I was all about the doula life. It was well worth it.
And then, Blake ended up leaving my birth to go cry.
I left for a minute because seeing you in such pain as they're trying to flip our baby in your stomach, it looked like they were shining bowling balls. Yeah, and you were screaming out in pain.
I was mooing.
I had a hard time watching it.
Low.
I needed to take a second. A 20-second time out, and then gather myself and go back. I didn't leave and be like, hey, all right, see you later.
The doctor
I'll
came
catch you
in
at home.
and said, I need to go check on your husband. He's like a bigger mess than you.
That is fair. For that moment, I was a disaster.
Yeah.
But then I got it together after my 20-second tea.
You went and got dinner.
I figured it out. And I came back and I
Got
was
some
ready to go. Oh, man. All right. Claire and Jamie's expressions cracked me up, says Britta Peterson. The bad, just a preference, but the Ian Rachel wedding night was a little long, and they could have used some screen time to let other parts of the stories breathe. The best, the random crossover with all creatures great and small with the casting of Roger's dad, but also I just really enjoyed their meeting and Roger getting to say how much he respects his dad for fighting the good fight. And P.S. Extra best. Bree going full Mama Bear mode and slap happy with Rob Cameron was so satisfying. This one from Nicole says, afraid it's only 4.6 kilts for me for this episode, although I did like the pace being slower than the previous episode, which gave us all a chance to breathe. My good. Ian and Rachel wedding night was nicely done. No rough and tumble.
Look at this.
This is great
This
stuff.
is why listener feedback is flipping amazing.
No rough and tumble, but that's mainly due to the influence of the intimacy coordinator and Ian taking things nice and slow. It was sweet, but sorry, no bums for Mary.
And no, they talked about their bums. Ooh, you got a cute wee little bum.
Yeah,
Ooh,
there was
you got a
clothing
little
on
bum.
some bums. It was like trying to eat a
bum
lollipop with the
grab.
wrapper on it.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not good. You try.
I thought it was cute. How she was like, you've got a cute bum.
My bad. I hate to say it, but the wedding night dragged a bit for me. While it was nice that everyone
Wait,
got.
hold on. Her good was the wedding night.
Well, she said it was nicely
Her
done.
bad was the wedding night. Okay, keep going.
But even though it was nicely done, it was dragged. Yeah, it dragged on for her. While it was nice that everyone got their chance to say their bit, and I did like the interchange between Claire and Jamie, but I really missed the lightness and joy of how their wedding is described in the book. Yes, I know this is the show, Blake, but I find it really hard to divorce these beloved scenes from the book. And my great, Roger and Buck finding Jerry and helping him back to the Stones. All the interchanges between father and son were so emotionally charged. Roger's face said it all, and his final "I love you" as Jerry leaves was perfect. All right, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Roisin here.
Hi, Roisin.
Long time, many time caller. I hope everybody is well and recovered after being ill and all of the busyness of Christmas and the holiday season.
Still
that you
working
have
on
there.
that, Roisin.
I have a possibly unpopular opinion.
Okay.
There was always something about Lord John Grey, and as an extension also William, that I never quite liked. I could never quite put my finger on it, and I was wondering, like, what is it about them? Then I remember in the most recent episode that we discussed that he said he has a plantation. Mm-hmm. And then that was making me think, oh yeah, no, he owns slaves, so not a good person. And I know William has a plantation as well, so he's going through the Great Dismal, and look.
Oh, looks like she got cut off. Listen, Roisin, I see what you're saying. I totally hear it. Like, I get it.
Did she have a second? Did she call back?
No, she didn't call back. It just cut off. I get it. Like, it's not something with which, we are comfortable at the moment, and nor should we be, nor should anybody be. But you kind of have to look at it in context. I think it's just such a, like, is George Washington a bad dude for having slaves during his time? Is Alexander Hamilton a bad dude for having slaves at his time? I mean, given the context of the time, I would say no. Is it something that we find reprehensible? Yes, and we should. But they're only operating within the construct of their time. So it's kind of hard to have that kind of judgment on those. Like, do you understand what I'm saying, Mary?
It's first off, I do want to let you know that plantation, the word itself, doesn't necessarily mean that it is a slave-owned place.
But even let's just say that it is.
I just want to say that is that's something I want to make sure people understand. It usually did.
Sure.
So it often has that connotation, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that. He did have I mean, he talks about his love
right
being a slave.
Right.
and he knows that Brianna and Claire are against owning slaves. But I hear what you're saying. What's hard is the day and time.
Mm-hmm.
And that he does get educated a bit by these women. So
It's just a very well. I mean, it's not morally gray to have slaves. It's not. I mean, that's just immoral. But just given the time and the context of that time, it is somewhat morally gray. I don't know. So it's just hard to. It's just hard to differ between the two.
no, I think that there are definitely people of that time who were always against it.
Well, sure.
So
yeah, I mean, well, England had outlawed slavery in the 1600s, right? But it's just difficult
he's
to
someone
judge.
who would never have like wanted terrible treatment of people.
Sure.
You know, he's not. Yeah, it's definitely a complicated answer.
It's a complicated answer, and one that I don't think I'm smart.
Like, I don't
enough-
think there's not any stories of him mistreating people physically or on purpose demeaning them, but
Right.
in general,
Well, just
that
because you don't demean
practice
somebody,
is demeaning in my opinion. Like,
Right, yeah,
no matter
right.
what. So, yeah, it's not great pop.
yeah, and I was about to say that I'm not smart enough to find that answer. Hopefully, well, gladly we've all, for the most part, moved on from any of that kind of social construct. So, yeah, just a difficult answer. All right, let's get to the next one, and that comes from Laurel. She says, this episode, the Gem, Roger and Buck storyline, knocked it out of the park for me. First of all, Gem is so brave, also smart. Secondly, I did not think I'd be so invested in Roger's story, and I am. Everything with his dad was great. Brought tears to my eyes. Outlander does the father-son relationships so well. Loved the time traveler revelation on his father's part, and how Roger was calling out Jeremiah Mackenzie, lined up with Bree's search for Gem at the same time. And I low-key loved Roger's dad's jacket, too. I know, that bomber jacket.
so good.
So cool. The most hilarious part of this episode was LJG straight up lying to the soldiers about his name. Jamie saying, John could take care of himself. Really rang true here. Rachel and Ian's wedding was cute. Also, are Claire and Jamie squatting in LJG's house? I feel like they are squatting. They're just kind of like there.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we're living in your house now.
Once again,
It's like Uncle Eddie showing up.
Nothing's happened in the show. to
Shitter's
make her-
full.
Nothing's happened in the show to make her not be married to Lord John Grey.
Right.
Nobody's talking about this stuff.
Nobody's talking about it. It's just, he just shows up.
It's a little complicated in the show. It's weird.
You surprised, Lord John? No, Jamie. I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up with my face sewn to
What
the
were you
carpet.
guys doing? Why weren't you looking for me? We were too busy having sex.
Love this table, by the way. Nice and sturdy.
Yeah.
Well polished. She says, I can't wait to get an update on what William's up to because I missed him in this episode. 5 kilts, obvi, but happy holidays to everyone. All right, Marvin, why don't you read Peg?
Peg says, after my struggle with the first 2 episodes and the series finale wrap-up feel to them, I feel like we're deep into the Outlander I love, and we've gotten our 3rd brilliant episode in a row. Another 4.9 kilts for me. Good. All things wedding and rumpy pumpy.
Yes.
Outlander does weddings very well, and this one was no exception. I loved the humorous 3-beat of Rollo with the big yawn, sleeping head on his paws, and then lay down on his side. Claire advising Jamie and in the spirit to stay out of the Ian Denny spat, and her little eye roll smirk expression was perfect. It was also a tender and heartfelt wedding. I liked that their Rumpy Pumpy was both fun and hot. I much preferred theirs to the Brie Roger versions of Rumpy Pumpy.
Yep. 100%.
Or bad. Roger and Buck walking to the mountains in the far distance. I'm sorry, but this would just not have happened. Horses are too valuable, and they wouldn't have risked them being stolen, let alone make bad heart Buck walk and walk and walk. But he didn't have to. Took me so out of the show I had to watch multiple times to refocus on the story. My great Roger and Jerry's short interaction was heart-wrenching. All the tears for that. But what made the whole story great for me was the conversation with Buck on their horses again. Buck's observations about memory for people like them really felt right to me. I think he's right about not putting a lot of stock in it. It made me think back to episodes 101 and 102 when Claire had tricks of memory. Claire, by the tractor at Leach, watching herself ride past Jamie, and her bit of fear and recognition when Dougal takes her into the surgery and she and Frank had just explored a few days prior. And these little bits of time travel how-to are always welcome, and Roger should add these to his wee journal he's writing for the kids. Honorable mention, Jem telling himself to get on his feet, soldier, just as Granny says. The very accurate depiction of the
Condescension.
Yes, thank you.
I got
Condescension and misogyny of the male cop, chalking things up to a hysterical woman that was so prevalent in the late 70s and 80s. And oh my God, the third of a 3B of uniforms for Jamie, Highland kilt, red coat, now the Continental. He's just fire in a uniform.
He looks pretty good in these uniforms. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
He's a good looking man.
Agreed.
Wish I looked that good in either a kilt or a Continental uniform.
You've never tried a Continental uniform.
Well, yeah, I wish I could. But the red coats can go screw. I refuse to do that. So that's that. All right, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Tori from Indianapolis
Hi, Tori.
calling, and
Hi,
Happy
Tori.
New Year.
Oh,
I
thank
am
you.
reporting on episode 712, Carnal Knowledge. Kilt rating 4.7. Good. All the Lord John moments this season, of course. I feel like he's been portrayed so seriously in the show, and I kind of liked seeing him almost in the state of bewilderment or the sarcasm. Again, so great by David Barry. I think his amazing performance this season has helped me even understand or appreciate how good we have it with Sam and Kat playing Claire and Jamie. Gosh, they're just all phenomenal.
Really are.
It's amazing they haven't gotten any awards. So deserving. The bad. I was with you guys. The no conversation between Lord John and Jamie. It really reminded me of that moment when Roger comes through the stones and Ian and Jamie beat him up with out talking to him at all. Come on, didn't we learn from that, Jamie? Great. At first I was annoyed, but upon second watching, I really liked kind of the realness and the reality of William's breakdown. Hard to watch, but so real. He felt so duped by everyone he loved. Kind of made sense he was lashing out. And a quick outlandish theory, are there sparks between Denzel and Lord John? Only time will tell. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Still love this take, Mary. This is a fantastic take. This is like, I'm not going to say gold standard take, but it's pretty close. Denzel and Lord John. Could there be some sparks? Could it be magic? Get some good old Barry Manilow for you. I'm in. Down with the low.
Interesting.
I like this idea. All right, let's see. We don't have a ton of feedback for 13 for some reason.
We have Veronica Defoe.
No, I know. I'm just saying we don't have a ton of feedback for this episode, so this episode might be shorter than normal.
Let's go for
ahead.
Veronica because she had something to say to you.
Okay, go ahead, read it.
Yeah, I want you to read it because she's talking to you.
Oh, Blake, you crack me up. I'm not saying Jamie's being a good guy right now, but you still hate Rick Rankin and make fuss about it years later. Now, I appreciate that you didn't beat him up, and he doesn't need rescuing, but talk about holding a grudge. Yes, Veronica, I don't mind holding a grudge. Rick Rankin, listen, a little too comfortable with my wife.
Oh my God.
Little too comfortable. Where he giving pins and talking to her like she's his buddy.
I am his buddy.
That we're not friends, okay?
I'm his friend.
You're you, she is her. She's got a ring. When you see the ring, it could light up the friggin' moon, that ring. When you see the ring, it's shining with 1,000 megawatt power in your eye. You should know. Stay away from a man's wife. Rick Rankin, that guy.
You are too much.
Like, might take it back that I said he did a good job. I'm all fired up now, Rick Rankin. Get out of here. Totally hold. But you're right, Veronica. I didn't kick the hell out of him. I should have. If I was there, I would have.
Can you stop? He smokes cigarettes. He's not my type.
Oh, ugh. All right. Why don't you read the next? Rick Rankin. That guy.
RR Studios' least favorite episode so far. Which, mind you, this is Blake's favorite so far. Instead of interwoven plot lines like carnal knowledge, this felt scattered, with even the big reveals not really landing a punch for me, including Jamie in his new uniform and Lord John Grey apparently safe. The good enjoyed Buck and Roger in the past, especially Buck when he picks up that snotty kid and scares the crap out of him. The actor brings such humanity to his role. We'll miss him. It was cool to see Roger meet his father. However, it was a lot of time wandering around in the heather. The bad. I was Rollo yawning on the floor. The whole wedding. All of it. Hello, thee was self-indulgent and truly borning. Goodbye. The great was Jem in the tunnel and the subsequent rescue. Yay, Fiona is still here. Sign me up for some scones. Rob has accomplices, which added to the suspense in the episode needed. 4 kills.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that it's not explicit that Rob has accomplices. It's just like, hey, he's not there. And just whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of out on Rob freaking Cameron.
We know.
That guy.
You're out on every male right now except Lord John.
No, I like Lord John.
I know. That's what I just said.
I'm in on Ian. I'm totally in on the Ian wedding.
And you love William.
I'm in on William.
Okay.
William's got all the daddy issues. So many daddy issues that they should just make a show about him. It's great. Love that idea.
Oh, they want to make a show about his dad.
Just give me some
you're
synth
welcome.
music with William. Oh, we got it right there. All right, let's get to the next voicemail.
Hi, Mary and Blake. This is Angela Burgess calling in from Duluth, Georgia, outside of Atlanta. This isn't my first time commenting, but it is my first time calling in.
Okay.
Kind of been holding off watching more recent episodes until I thought y'all might be able to catch up. Glad everyone is well and that you've made it through the holidays.
Thank you. Me too.
I watched episode 713 last night, flying home from visiting my son on his first adult job across the country.
Congrats.
So it was a great distraction. I give this episode 4.95 kilts.
All right.
My GBG. My good. How true this particular episode remained to the books, and I'll talk about that later. My bad. The lack of emotion in Jamie and wee Ian's reunion before the wedding. I just thought it needed a little bit more. My great. Bree's last kick on her way out the door before locking effing Rob Cameron up. I really loved this episode, but I wanted to come back to my good. As I read Blake's knee-jerk reaction and the way that he talked about the things that he thought were wrong, my first thought was, but that's how Diana wrote it. And then I heard Blake say, stats are for nerds. Just because Diana wrote it one way doesn't mean it can't be approved, especially when it comes to timing or emotion. While I am a time traveler, I shouldn't expect the book to be the end-all, be-all, and even Diana might find room for revision. Thanks for all you do.
Angela. Oh, coming in hot with this one. You know what, Angela? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Makes me want to shout. Absolutely. Just because Diana wrote it doesn't mean that it's perfect. There's always room for improvement. There is always a way to make something better. Unless you're watching Goodfellas or The Godfather 2 or Back to the Future. Like, really, Goodfellas is the only truly perfect film, I think, ever. But there's always room for improvement. It is what it is. Just is what it is. What?
You. It's the only perfect movie.
It is.
It's the only one, in my opinion.
Yeah. Goodfellas. It's perfect.
Oh my God.
Can't get any better than Goodfellas. You don't even bother. Everyone should just wrap up and try again.
Love Jurassic Park, for the record.
It's true.
Janelle McKinney says, honestly, this episode was a struggle for me. In part, 712 was so amazing that it's hard to top. It's also one of the times I wish I wasn't a book reader. Most of the time I can enjoy and appreciate the book and show separately for what they are.
Sure.
And I know how much they've had to pare down. And I'm grateful we got Jerry instead of not at all. But this is one of the time I thought the books are so much better. And I don't envy the writers and producers that they had to shave down the story and edit. I truly wonder how much was left on the editing floor. And there are so many
Fair.
wonderful essences of the book in there. I think you could tell they were really afraid of not getting renewed for season 8 and trying to fit so much in. But this episode ended up being a little bit of a letdown. It's like someone gave me the most wonderful cup of hot chocolate and put one mini marshmallow in it. I know there's got to be more marshmallows somewhere, and I really wanted them all in my cup. And a mini candy cane to get the right amount of peppermint in there too, but there's no candy cane, no whipped cream, and only one measly mini marshmallow, and it's just not the same.
This is the perfect analogy for Mary. I'm so happy you had a chance to read this one.
Thanks.
Because that is totally something that you would say.
I would agree.
Even hearing in your voice, I'm like, this is Mary's
Janelle
take.
gets me.
Yeah, she totally gets you.
I hear you.
I've realized that I've subconsciously elevated Rob Cameron to that guy status. I'm not sure if I'm in on that. I'm not sure if Rob Cameron is worthy of the that guy status.
Okay. Can I talk about this hot chocolate for a
Sure,
second?
yeah.
So there's a Merry Scottish Christmas on Netflix.
Yep.
It's brother and sister, and they find out that they're like inheriting this Scottish castle
The
or whatever.
movie's totally nonsense.
Oh my God, it is. But you know what? So are all like Hallmark-esque Christmas movies.
Yep.
And the brother and sister, what rebonds them, like the moment of rebonding, is that they used to do this thing where they would make like massive, crazy hot chocolates. And in it, they break up cookies and put it in their hot chocolate.
No.
And they're talking about this, like, remember when we were kids, we were doing these different toppings? Yeah, it was so great. So as adults, they're like crabby with each other, and then they're bonding, and they get hot chocolate, and they're like, let's do it again. And in this beautiful cafe, they take their cup of cocoa and break cookie pieces and put it into their hot chocolate. And they drink it, and they're like, delicious. And all I could think about is, you guys are nasty. Like, like sludge cookie pieces in your cocoa? Why not? Where's the marshmallows?
You guys are nasty.
Where's the whipped cream? Where's even like, I don't know, little caramel drizzle? Yes, candy canes. But friggin'
cookie.
Biscotti? What do like at least biscotti I could even do if you're like dipping it. No, they break up cookies and put it in it. Gross.
Biscotti?
No. Nasty.
First of all, out on biscotti. That's the worst.
I love biscotti.
How can you like biscotti? It's just dry. It makes me feel like I'm in the Sahara Desert when I eat it.
You're supposed to wet it. That's why you're supposed to put it in tea or
then
coffee
make
or
it
cocoa.
a wet cookie.
No, you can't sell wet cookies. So they give you the dry cookies so you can wet it home. It's like homemade cocoa mix.
Then
you have to add the water.
Make it more moist.
No, that's
preposterous.
The point. If you did that, then it would be like these jabronis.
Somebody shows up
cookies.
somebody shows up to my house with biscotti.
I love
They're
it.
out the door.
I love it. Whenever there's like a cookie swap, I go right for that biscotti because you want to know something?
It's the worst.
I know you're not going to eat it.
That's true.
When I take home my cookies from a cookie swap, they are
getting all the
mysteriously
crispy
missing.
things.
Yeah, because somebody's eating them
See,
at 10 o'clock at night when I'm asleep.
the
There's
thing-
like a little mouse named Blake who goes in. Even when I put them in the freezer, he finds them.
No, the kids have been eating the cookies, not me.
There's multiple mice now
If
in
I
my
get
house.
a cookie that if it sounds like this,
You're supposed to wet it.
I'm out.
Good.
I'm out. I don't
Good.
want chocolate chip cookies that make a door knocker sound. I don't want over crispy cookies.
The biscotti are meant to be dipped.
It's
You're welcome.
ridiculous. Although a Merry Scottish Christmas did give us one drink that I'm all on board with, and that is
do
the
tell.
Highland Snowball.
And tell everybody what it is.
Eggnog, a little bit of the Macallan with some butterscotch schnapps. Well, not technically not schnapps, but butterscotch liqueur. Ooh, girl. Man, you have just a little bit of that. Oh, man, that's Christmas right there. That is Christmas. All right, we got our final voicemail. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Hi, it's Angela. I just finished your
Hi,
713
Angela.
review, and since Mary brought it up, I wanted to let the listeners know if you read that novella, Leaf on the Wind of All Hallows, about Roger's dad, Mary and I hosted a 2-part study on that story. You can find it on the Mary and Blake YouTube channel. So if you read it, check that out. It was Mary's first time reading the story. On this episode, it got my lowest score of the second half, still a high 4.6. The Roger, Buck, and Jerry portion saved the episode for me. Tremendous performances by all three, but especially Richard and
Agreed.
Nicholas Ralph. They spent entirely too much time on the Ian and Rachel side, confused the lore on the Bree side to create a cheap trick, and used two inexperienced writers taking separate storylines, which created a lack of cohesion and through lines in the story. So I think I gave Ian and Rachel a 4.25, Bree and Jem a 4.5, and Roger, Buck, and Jerry a 4.9. So I come down to a 4.6 total, but it was very uneven and lacked cohesion. Additionally, I'm not sure the show is very clear on the resolution of the Jerry storyline. Most show-only people are not grasping what happened from what they showed, so I hope they plan more on that down the road. But bravo to Rick Rankin and Nicholas Ralph. Like you, Blake, I just wish it was a higher percentage of the episode, but every second we got with them was chef's kiss. Mwah.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
And I agree, Angela. I don't think the show made it clear what happened. And I think that show watchers...
See, that's hard for me to... Well, I mean...
What did you get from that?
I got that his dad was sent by MI6 to go over Poland.
No, when Roger
pictures.
says goodbye to his dad.
Yeah.
What do you feel like happens?
His father goes back in time.
Uh-huh.
And Roger has
Roger
this...
says, I love you.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And then Roger... I don't know if he gains a memory or if that just unlocks a memory that he already had. Right?
What was the memory?
Of him being in a subway with his dad when he was young. Right? And we know that his mother died in the subway because he said that in the show. So was he supposed to be with his mother or was he with his dad? Like, again, I don't know if it was gained or if it was just unlocked.
Yeah. So all I could tell you is that you as just a show watcher, you didn't fully grasp everything. And that's okay. Just everyone needs to read the novella and then you'll know what that means.
That's fair.
That's okay. And I think that this is, like what a previous listener said, where they're just trying to cram so much in.
Yeah. And that's the issue.
In. And I agree with Angela. The cohesion in this episode was not there. Whereas previously, we had such awesome cohesion when you had all the William and Jamie cuts with one another.
But there's also part of me that kind of wants to let the mystery be here a little bit.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying cohesion between these different storylines
Sure.
didn't flow. They were also different.
All right, that's it, Marvin. That's all we got for our listener feedback.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. So listen, I expect everyone to take it up a notch for episode 14 and 15 because episode 13 left me wanting a little bit here.
Maybe it left everybody else wanting, and that's why they didn't have much to say.
All right, fair enough. All right, ready to close this bad boy out?
People are compelled. They will write in or call in.
Hold on. You know what? Let's.
I want to. Oh, yeah.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to thank our friends who've taken the time to write reviews on Apple Podcasts. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again. You do not need to listen on Apple Podcasts to leave us a written review. The stars are nice, but I'm telling you, leaving the written reviews is where it's at. I want to thank Looking for Hot Water, who wrote, I knew I was missing the show, but the joy I felt hearing Mary and Blake on the microphone, whew, there's so many things that make this podcast good.
Yep. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Looking for Hot Water.
All right, you ready to close this bad boy out?
Sure am.
Let's do it.
Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worrying about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, and so it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be.
Right? How could you not just let the mystery be? This is a great leftovers.
This is.
A great leftovers cut right here.
You know what?
What?
We haven't said it recently, but friends, if you are looking for a show that's different, thought-provoking, and if you are just like, in the throngs of darkness over these next couple of months, and you like to just be inside, check out The Leftovers. But
so
please
good.
make sure you listen to our podcast, The Living Reminders. We interview a bunch of the cast. We interview the creator of the show a couple of times. We interview the author of the book. and it is by far one of the most thought-provoking, interesting shows Blake and I have ever covered. Not uplifting, but
No,
interesting.
it is. By the end, it is.
Yeah, but also
the first season's not.
no. Very interesting, a little weird. But if you like time travel and you're here for some weird, then this
all
is a
the
great
weird.
show.
So much
okay?
weird.
But yeah, this song, Let the Mystery Be.
This was the theme song for the show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is.
I remember when it first came out, I was like, what is this? And then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, man, this song rocks. Iris Dement. How could you not like this?
Going to a place called Glory, and I ain't saying it ain't
Okay.
fact.
It's the best. All right, so go check out our podcast, maryandblake.com, especially the leftovers with Mary and Blake. That's that. So, all right.
My name's Mary,
My name is Blake.
and you've been listening to Outlander Cast.
Let the mystery
Slanja.
be.
Let the mystery be.